And hello, everybody. Nobody's here yet, but all right. So you're watching on replay. I'm doing this for the algorithm. Welcome to Rick Snider's Warston on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, even hit the thanks button. I always appreciate that. And if somebody gets on, we'll start talking. I'm a couple minutes early on everything, but just about as many of you watch on replay as we have live. So DJ G Wiz is here in the house. Thank you, DJ, for coming. You snuck in early with everybody. Just getting ready. See who shows up tonight. Oh, I have 5 of you here already. Okay. Everybody wants to talk. It's the season, finally. So, hey, Michael, thanks for coming back. Appreciate you handling things. I think we have a decent crowd tonight. Now that the season's in here, I mean, starting next Monday, you'll either be here to chew on this team or cheer them on, one or the other, whatever happens on Sunday. But Jacksonville starts the season. I'm a little worried about it, to be honest. Do I think we'll win this Sunday, Emilio asks. Man, I got a bad feeling no. But they should. I was studying Jacksonville today, and, I mean, you know, they should win this game. King says 2-0 or bust. I agree with you there. I mean, if they don't win right away, then you're fighting uphill the whole season. And there's a lot of extra drama. And God knows this team loves drama, but, hey, you know, whatever. Since everybody's coming in now, good things. Next Monday, I will show you what I've had in plans for quite a while. Next week, I'm supposed to get these this week. Next week, the 100 Things Commanders fans should know and die, the new updated book. Hopefully I'm getting them this week. They had supply chain problems. Big surprise there. But it'll be coming. Buy it from me. I'll autograph it and whatever you want. You do it to Amazon, you give Jeff Bezos most of my money. So hopefully next week I'll show you how you can order online from my website. DJ says, you see the Jags Commanders predictions? Yeah, I think it was like 8 of 10 took Jacksonville. Listen, I think Jacksonville is a much improved team. I was reading about him today. I mean, listen, first off, they got a real coach, you know, who did well in Philly, made Carson Wentz a star. You know, the quarterback's got a year now into things. They got the running back from a Liz Frank injury. They've bolstered their D-line some. And somebody said, yeah, they're going to be much better. They're going to win 5 games this year. Okay, but 5 games means you're bad, but you're not god-awful. So it's not an easy walkover of a win for them. Do I think Logan Thomas will be on a snap count when he returns? Thank you for saying snap count, Blue Note, because everybody says pitch count, including Rivera, because that's a common phrase, but it's not baseball. We should say snap count. Nobody ever does. Whenever he does return, yes. I don't know. He said today he wasn't sure if he was going to make it for the first game back. So my guess is probably not, but on Wednesday we'll get a better feel because that's when they have to put out the injury report. You know, injury report wasn't a big deal, but in recent years it's gotten into where the gambling is involved, and now the NFL is all in on gambling. And you got to protect the integrity of the game, and that's why these medical reports are a little more forthcoming than in the past, or else you get fined for it. So I think we'll know something Wednesday and definitely by Friday. My guess is not. DJ, you're saying they're going to go 8 out of 10? I don't know. I lost you on that one. King, our future coach might be Dan Quinn. I'm not a big Dan Quinn fan. Nothing. I don't know him personally, but I wouldn't see that. Steve says howdy. There you go. It's funny. I always talk about it's 8 to 9 Eastern, and everyone's like, why do you do that? Because a lot of you are from everywhere, including some of you from Europe on here. So the Internet's a big world. I learned a lot of fans are everywhere, according to my Twitter account. It kind of tells me where everybody is. So I hope you had a good Labor Day. I tried not to work too much. I haven't had a paid holiday off in 15 years. Let's see. King says, why are the cornerbacks so far off? Yeah, I think that's a good question. Because they're supposed to be better man coverage guys. This season's all about will the D-line get home and harass quarterbacks. If they don't, team's doomed. So it's you know, and we talk so much about linebackers. This record's not going to depend on the linebackers. It's all on the D line more than anything. If they fail, this team goes down with them like the Titanic. I don't expect that. I think it's a very talented D-line. You've got, right now 3 bona fide, first-round good picks who have played decent. In some reason, the sum of the parts isn't better than the individual parts. And Chase will be back. My guess is more mid-season. So I don't understand why they're not better. They fired a D-line coach. And, hey, Ryan Kerrigan was named assistant D-line coach today. I'm really happy to see that. I suspected it always would happen, especially when they fired the defensive line coach in August, promoted his assistant. That now left the slot open. Rivera knows Kerrigan. He played for him first year. He likes him. Everybody likes Ryan Kerrigan. And I just wondered if Kerrigan, after getting a taste of what coaching life is like, would want to do it. And today, Kerrigan met with the media. And in there, he said, the difference is, as a player, you look, you see what time practice is, and then you can leave. He says, there's no leaving now. I've got a meeting, and I'll be done whenever I'm done. And yeah, coaches, man, big difference from the world of playing and coaching. Players probably have a 40-hour week during the week. Coaches got an 80-hour week. If I was a player who made a lot of money in the league, like Ryan has, I don't know. I can see why he wants to do this, but I would rather have more fun coaching high school or something than that. Look at Dion. Dion's having a blast coaching in colleges over there. With pros, they're hard. All right, J-Dubs just hopped on. Well, that's okay. You haven't missed anything. We just actually it's 8 o'clock. So, ding. Here we go. I knew you guys love the bell. I don't know why, but it's funny, but sure. So if you need a picture, here it is. I didn't steal it off a hotel desk. That would have been an idea, but I paid $5 for it. All right, so if the season doesn't start off well with Wentz and defense, do you see this team making trades or going all in, or just packing in and see what they have and how? They're not going to just pack it in because the head coach isn't blind to the fact that they go like 4-13. There's a new head coach coming, so they're going to stay with Wentz as long as they can, and maybe he plays well. I know the fan base is we're all like, everybody's like a dog that's been kicked forever, so you don't expect much. But at this point, you still can be optimistic. So I don't see him making trades. It's hard to make trades in the NFL for anything sizable. It's not like baseball. Although I don't like baseball trades either because they're always about, an A-League player. I'd rather have a major league player than an A-League prospect. All right, Amelia wrote, any more food previews coming up? Did you see my Papa John's pizza, crustless pizza one? I did a video back. I think it was on Wednesday. I bought the Papa John's one's got a couple of them. And everyone I've talked to about this said, and I agree, it's not a meal. And they said, this is really good over rice. My wife had it for lunch. It's really good over rice. And I said, yeah, that's what it is. It's toppings, and it tasted fine. It's just no substance to it. So I don't think this thing will last too long. I mean, I'm not buying something so I can mix it with other food I already have. What's the point of that? Michael said it's a bowling toppings. Yeah, they tasted fine. It's like cauliflower pizza. There's no substance to it. Either eat it or don't. Life's too short, to keep making all these sacrifices, I think. I don't know. It's been a year since I've been on a new diet and lost some weight. I haven't broken after a year. Come close. But so I do eat a little pizza now. That's my one vice. All right, Blue Note. I saw that the defensive line was practicing on batting down balls. Why volleyballs instead of footballs? Because footballs hurt your hand. If you do it a lot, that end of the ball, goes right in you. It hurts. So you do the same thing with a volleyball. It doesn't hurt your hand. And listen, they get beat up enough. J-Dub says Pizza Hut has Detroit-style pizza again. Thoughts? I like Detroit-style pizza. I actually eat it. Little Caesars has it too. And there's plenty of places around D.C. that are making it now. It's a new trendy thing. And Korean pizza. I was at Lido's. Didn't have it, but they had Korean pizza on the menu. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know what that tastes like. If any of you know, let me know. But, they're always trying something different because you do get a little bored. All right, let's see. Jeff says, the international move to Pimlico. Can you talk about the former importance of the International Laurel? Okay, so the Washington, D.C. International preceded the Breeders' Cup and was the first big international race in America. And then back in the 50s, in 60s, they would go to Laurel Park, which is just outside of D.C. You get like 50,000 people come to the racetrack and see some of the really good horses like Forgo and all. And, the Breeders' Cup really just made it nothing because Breeders' Cup's races now do the same thing. But in the old days of the Russians coming over, and I covered some of those, it was kind of cool. I drank a lot of vodka with the Russians one morning in the barn. That was not a smart idea. Man, I had to go to Track Kitchen, sober up. Alexander says, Pizza Hut pizza is awful. Alexander, blocked. Michael, can you get him out of here? No, I'm kidding. Listen, everybody likes different pizza. I like pizza. I don't know. I eat 7-Eleven pizza in my old days. Not anymore. Pizza Goodfellas. Don't pay. Says 1233T. I don't know. I'm okay with them. Pizza can be really, I don't know. I'll tell you who's overrated pizza. I'm going to start a fight now. When I went to Italy, I was looking forward to this. So years ago, I was going to Italy, buy pizza, and I thought this is good. The only pizza I had was in Rome, and it wasn't very good. And I was quite disappointed. And you walk so much, if you go to Rome, if you go to Italy on vacation, you will walk your feet off. And the food's not bad, but I like our Italian food better. The rolls are like a rock. All right, so King says we need a GM like the Eagles have. Yeah, that dude has done some good things on there. Mike, HTTC, there you go, the new flash hashtag. I agree with that. Alexander, 7-Eleven pizza, that's awful. I didn't say it was good. I have a problem. What can I tell you? I haven't had any in a long time. Michael says pizza in Italy depends on the region. Very much so. I mean, Napoli, I've been down there. Their pizza is very different too. I like it. Go up north, you have a little more toppings on it. Go to Venice, they put seafood on it more. All right, David, did I ever give a tour for someone with the team? No. I did. New York Yankees came down once. I did a few of those guys and their wives. Sonny Gray, great guy. But not. I don't want to take money from any way connected with the Washington football team of Commanders, Redskins football team. I have a rule: no money of theirs is crossing my hands, because as a journalist, it's just not right. Okay, J-Dubs. He likes my live videos. Thanks. Any chance you go live on Sunday after a few games this year? Oh, yeah, absolutely. After every game, I'll be up live pretty soon after the game, as soon as I can get to it. But it's usually pretty soon afterwards. I do the first one. And then since they're all 1 o'clock starts, I usually will do one later in the night too. So I'll do 2, maybe 3 videos after the games on Sundays, starting this week. I'm not traveling. I'm only doing home games now. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1. I don't know what that's, or T rather at the end, whatever that's about. Pizza versus Bison lazy pizza, not boats. I don't know what that's about. Okay, King. Sometimes I should read these faster. I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just read what's in front of me. Blank you, San Diego. Whatever. All right, Madden. King says Madden told Ron, don't go by the book, but I see he doesn't listen. Go for it more on 4th down. Hey, Riverboat Ron does what he does. Most of the time, his gambles work. Not always. I don't know what 1, 2, 3, 3 T is talking about on that one either. There's something with gym chicks, and I have a feeling that's not good. Whatever it is on there. Sounds like when I thought OnlyFans was talking about sports. Turns out it's a different game they're playing. Do I believe we have a good offensive line? Asked Kevin. Good enough. Not great, but decent. I don't think there'll be a problem this season. Reginald, if Washington goes 10-7 but doesn't make the playoffs, would you consider the season a success? Kind of. I guess I would say yes, and just bad luck didn't get them in. It does happen. All right. Ricky Gervais versus Biden, funny vote. I have no idea what that's about. 1, 2, 3, 3. I don't do much on politics here anyway. I have my opinions, but in America, you're either for or against somebody. There's nobody neutral anymore, which is a real shame. So we should all try and cross over and do better and at least listen to the other side, whichever side you're on. But we don't want to seem to do that anymore. We'd rather just yell at each other. So, and you got 2 years from now, you can vote for whoever you want. All right. King says they have a bad OC. Disagree with you on there. I think you'll show something this year. Let's see. J-Dub's favorite Skins game you attended. Oh, God. I'm awful at that because I've done 500 plus games, I guess. I don't know, more. I don't really remember. I'll say this, first time I went to Dallas, which was 95, and Washington won down there that year. That was fun. I had never seen the rivalry from the Dallas perspective, which I've always been here in Washington. You get out there, everybody's wearing, of course, the blue jerseys, and the women are wearing fur coats. And it's a money show down there. And Washington beat them, and I walked out of the stadium saying, that was fun. So that was great. I mean, I covered a Super Bowl live and all, too, and they won. That was great. Let's see. The Wobo says Bill Simmons thinks Rivera and Wentz are the worst head coach quarterback combination in the league. I wouldn't agree with that. I think Bill Simmons is a very smart guy and a good writer, but I wouldn't agree with that. I'm not sure who it is, but I don't think they're that bad. I think they're going to be fine. What was my opinion of Alex Smith's trading performance before the injury, J-Dubs? I thought it was brilliant. They were 6-3, I think 6-3. So it was going to work out. Alex wasn't the flashiest guy, but he knew how to win games, and that was what was really important. So, I was a winner for that, but who saw what happened coming? It's in my new book, by the way. Mike, any updates on the new stadium and when you think the team's going to make a decision? No updates. It's been quiet since Dan's been on the yacht out in the Med. So I'm sure they're working on something. I've heard a couple things about what they're trying to create. But, not yet. Also, I haven't heard any. There was an update today I heard about mobile sports betting in Maryland, and hasn't happened yet. And it doesn't sound like it's going to be ready for opening day, which is typical of Maryland. Can't even get out of its own way. I'm not better like that, but if you are, it's your money. I'm a big one on it's your money. Go spend it on what you want. As long as you don't hurt anybody, it's your money. If you want to spend it on something, go ahead. That's what capitalism's all about. Paul, let's see. When do we start to panic? Before or after the first 4 games? Oh, it's never too early to start now. I mean, we can start now if you're like, But if they are 1-3 after the first 4 games, I'd be a little worried. Steve, I've gotten the idea that Alex Smith was bitter about his experience in Washington. Did you misread that? No, and I'm quite surprised, quite frankly, that Alex didn't like to talk to the local media much, so we never really got a chance to get to know him well. But he would talk to the national guys, and he felt that Ron and them wanted to push him out. And Ron and them were worried about him getting hurt worse. I mean, a lot of people were worried about Alex coming back and ever playing again. So, he was bitter about it. That's a lot of times players are always that way. Very, very few players leave the game happy that they left it all out there. 5% maybe. That's about it. So bitterness is normal. Let's see. Michael says, if you lose first game, you riot. Okay, just not near my house on there. Let's see. J-Dubs, I live in New Mexico. Wow, okay. Went there once. That's hot, dude. Ever have green chili on your pizza? Not on my chili. Not on my pizza. I've had green chili. Hot. Yeah, New Mexico. I was there, it was like 112. All right, Jeff, did you hear anything about Alex not liking the medical staff? Yeah, that was part of it. But he didn't like anybody. I mean, if you weren't cheerleading for him all the way, he was bitter about some of this. A lot of players are. But they were more concerned. I mean, this was something that broken leg, he almost died from it. I mean, it was a very serious situation. And you just couldn't rubber stamp it and say, go on out there. And new coach doesn't know you. It's a new staff doesn't know you. It's a very cautious time. And, Alex just wanted to be able to run out on the field and do it. Sorry, dude. It's not about you. It's about the franchise, too. All right, the Wobo. Jake Gruden said on the Junkies there were some bad seeds he would have gotten rid of if he could. Any idea who it is? This stuff with Jay Gruden talking lately, Jay was an okay guy. He was a decent coordinator. He really wasn't a great coach. I don't really care what he has to say about anything. He should have said it then, and that would have meant something. Don't tell me about stuff later when you're gone. All right. Do I like roast beef or pulled pork? Paul Green asked. Funny enough, I had pulled pork over at my son-in-law's today. He made it. I'd see pulled pork. Had a heart attack 20 years ago yesterday at Redskin Park. So celebrated my 20th anniversary. Still alive. And ever since that happened, I haven't been a big red meat eater. Not because I'm worried about stuff, but because it's like rewired me. Now I eat a lot more seafood and healthier stuff. God, should sprout feathers. How many chickens I eat? Do I believe in the Jack Kent Cook curse? Kevin asked. I'm not sure what that is. You have to tell me because I mean I know about the curse on the team and the name, but I don't know about Jack's curse per se. Corey says, Mr. Snyder, or you can call me Rick. What is your outlook for the upcoming season? You know, before preseason, I said 10-7. Now I'm on an 8 or 9 win thing. I just think the defense is not as good as I'd hoped. So I'm going to probably say 8-9, but I could change it to 9-8. Jimmy the Greek taught me how you could have different versions of the same truth. Alton, okay, Alton's back. Preseason gave me a chance to see those burgundy uniforms. Lots of burgundy, hardly any gold. Thoughts on them? You know, it's not so much about what they look like as how they look when they play, but the burgundy is the best color of everything. I know people want more of a stripe and gold and stuff like that. So I think it's a work in progress still. Shouldn't be, but it is. All right, Michael reminds me 8.5 is the over under. Is it really? Okay. Well, God, if I had to bet that, bet the under. But I'm not trying to trash this team and say I think they stink. I think they're a decent team that could be good, could make the playoffs if they stay healthy. Health is everything, Mike. It is most places. Who would win in arm wrestling, Joe Rogan or London Fletcher? Asked Silly Goose. Well, Silly Goose, what a silly question is that? Joe Rogan's a strong guy, but I'll say London. I mean, London, I haven't seen London lately to see how the guns are, but the dude was pretty strong. Who's the most concerning, the defense or Wentz? Asked Paul. Defense. You know, I think Wentz is fine. I don't know why people are so worried about Wentz right now. Okay, is Carson Wentz a better quarterback today than Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence? Asked J-Dubs. Better than Trevor Lawrence, probably somewhat equal to Jared Goff. But in 5 years from now, Trevor Lawrence definitely would be the best of the three. I wish this team had Trevor Lawrence because you believe you can grow him. I don't know. All I saw was a great college quarterback. We'll see what he can do here. Paul asked, so D-line coaches now pushing more weight in the weight room than the linemen? No, I don't think so. All right, Alton, do you know how much the new D-line coach that Kerrigan is working under? Well, the other guy, the main D-line coach, played in the league for like 17 years. So, he's more an interior coach. That's what he played. And Kerrigan would be more with the ends. And the D-line coach would be more with the inside tackles on there. 1, 2, 3, 3, T. Go ahead and hit him, Michael. Knock him. Is Joey Sly blind? Asked Silly Goose. Well, that's another Silly Goose question, but at least it's a clean one. I don't think so. I mean, when I've talked to him, he looks at me. So, I don't know that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 3's got to leave. Bye, 1, 2, 3, 3, T. Super Bowl prediction. I hadn't even thought about it. I guess I should, huh? I liked Buffalo last year, so maybe I go with them again. And I don't think the Rams will do it. That's a good question. I'm going to have to think about that. Maybe I'll do it later on. Paul Kittner, House of Dragon review. Like it. Haven't loved it, but it's too early to love it. And I told somebody, I think they should not use the Game of Thrones song because then you're telling people this is Game of Thrones, basically. Well, it kind of is much earlier. You don't know the characters. You're not invested in them, and people get frustrated. Sort of Lord of the Rings thing has got the same problem in a way. Give them time. I think they're both going to be fine. Somebody said the difference between House of Dragons and Lord of the Rings new shows. House of Dragons is ready to kill you, and Lord of the Rings is asking, what would you like with your tea? So, very different approaches to the old days. Should we establish the run against the Jags or come out slinging, asked the league commander. Yeah, come out slinging, especially without your prime running back going to be there. Brian Robinson's going to be out a minimum 4 games after being shot. So he's doing well, what I understand. But Ron said he's going to be coming back for therapy soon. They're just kind of letting it rest up this past week. What do I think of Ryan Kerrigan here, asked Corey? I think it's a great thing. I think both sides are getting something they want there. So I think he'll do well. He'll get a taste of coaching, see what he wants to do. So good for him. I hope it goes well. Ryan's a great guy. Who will score the first Commanders touchdown? J Dubs asked. Okay, if we're going to bet futures, Dotson. That'll be it. You'll get maybe 5-1 on that one. Everybody's going to bet on Terry, but I'll do that. Wentz told ESPN that the Commanders will win the NFC East. Does that put more pressure on? Paul asked. No, because that's what you're going to say anyway. I don't care if you stink. I mean, the Jags were talking about could they win their division. Everybody talks about it. If you don't, you shouldn't be playing ball. You have to have at least a little optimism now. Now, you start out 0-8, and you can stop talking that stuff. But I've seen teams, especially Redskin teams in the past, it'd be like 4-7. They'd still say, listen, man, we can still make the playoffs. All we got to do is win this. So you got to be optimism. Kevin asked, did Jarrett, and I lost the rest of you there. So Jarrett did all he could do. He just got, they drafted a running back, basically take up a spot and with a different player. The Weber, any big surprises from first week college football? Yeah, boy, Virginia Tech didn't come out of that one, did they? ODU got them. I hear it's not as big an upset as people thought. I think it's an upset. Man, Florida State, a guy missing an extra point at the end deciding that game. Whew, there was a good college. I didn't watch a lot, but I only have so much time. But that was kind of cool. Robert Parrish, is Blake Martinez in the same mold as Bostic or Mayo? Not sure. Is Luray Caverns a nice day trip? Absolutely. Did that as a kid. Recently went back a couple of years ago. It's far enough from D.C. It's like, I guess, a couple hours. Go down to them caves, and at one point they turn the lights off on you, and you can't even see your fingers next to your eyes. It's so dark. It's pretty cool, though. Your kids will like it. We took the grandkids. They liked it. Luray Caverns is a great one. There's another one called Shenandoah Caverns. It's near it, and it's pretty cool. Did Amaretto make the practice squad? I don't know that one. How was the tour season this summer out in Mass? It was okay. From what I gather, most DC swears they're 90% tours of normal. No, it's not. I think it's more like 25%. So I stayed as busy, I guess, as I wanted to be. Made a few dollars. Back talking about it, you guys, hit the thanks button down the bottom. That's where you tip me. I guess I have no pride anymore. Hit the thanks button down below. You'll see it down here somewhere. You can tip like $2, something like that. I guess I'm a stripper now. Who knows? Let's see. $2 for this shoulder. But that's when I did the only fans thing. That didn't work right. But yeah, I appreciate the tip. It's just because got to eat. And sports writing is not as lucrative as you all think it is. I really should have retired a few years ago. But I just love doing this. So I'm still doing it. But it might be the last year. I'm not sure. All right. Jeff Delaney, best college team in the Commonwealth. Liberty. They sell insurance. I know that. Otherwise, I'll take your word for it. Alexander, what good books to read on how to improve your writing? The Elements of Style by Strunk is a really good one. I don't know. You just got to keep writing if you're looking at it as a career. Listen, I wasn't a really good – I started at 18. I'd say I was about 32 before I really got decent at it. It's just a lot of work to get to be one of the best. You have to care. Where would I rank Brian Arocco among the Redskins greats? Yes, Paul. Well, not in the top 100, but he was a fair player. I'll give it that. It was a fair pick. Didn't go as well as some people wanted, but better than a lot of other first-rounders. So it was okay. Grandizer, sorry missing your show. I have to moderate 2 channels right now. Are you kidding me? Just get rid of those things. Hit the like button to show support. I agree with that. Appreciate you hitting the like button. And drop those other shows. What are you talking about? Doing other work. 2-timing me, man. Or I guess 3-timing me. Something like that. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can see me. I got a message that my wireless is messing up. Super Bowl prediction, asked Jake. Yeah, I just had somebody ask me that. I should say 2 different teams, and that way I got 2 more covered. Let's see. Michael says, have to, if someone holding a gun to your head. Yeah, my creditors. Now, I love doing this. I first started writing for my school paper at 12. I'm now 62, so 50 years of doing this. And I wish I had 50 more. But life kind of makes some changes over that. So I'm doing this, and I'm writing. I'm still writing for Odyssey, which is 1067 The Fan. On that, and I also write for this little magazine. Comes out every week. It's called Command Post. Google it. You can see it's American Sports Media publishes it. I've been writing for this thing. We called it Redskin Review way back in the day, and Warpath, and now it's Command Post. I've been writing for about 30 years, and we do a lot of features. If you're a big fan, you'll like that. It doesn't cost that much. It comes out once a month. It used to be a weekly, but things change all the time. I'm going to live stream after the opening game, asked Paul. Not live stream. I'm just going to file reports. I'm going to live stream on Mondays, 8 to 9. But not after the games. You guys got too much. You're watching all the games. There's so much going on. I'll be back on Monday nights. But I will file my 2-minute shows a couple times every Sunday afterwards. Okay, Grand Dodger says, yeah, the more you like this, the more other people recommend me to wonderful views, whatever that is. So that would be great. Any good Sean Taylor stories, asked David. I covered Sean, but didn't know him really well because he didn't like to talk to the media. But he was a good guy, very generous person. I've heard a lot of stories about him. He just did, he talked to the media like once a season, something like that. So you never got to really know him much as a person that way. But I've always heard a lot of great things about him from other people. Okay, Jake remembers Redskin Review. There you go. Yeah. I mean, before that was the Joe Theismann newspaper, and before that, Jack and Cook owned it, I think. So it's always been around. Who I think is the most unappreciated player since I've been watching the teams? Asked Steve. Man, these kind of things. These questions are hard for me because it just melts over the years. Wow. Mosley? Maybe. I don't know. That's a good question, man. Really good question. Maybe Terry Allen. I have to really think about that. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Alton says, do I have any rituals or habits before I cover a game? Well, I touch my note now. I eat lunch before I cover the game. Make sure I have a couple pens and I basically set up. But no, it's just showtime. You hit it and go. And it's a little different covering it now with Twitter and all that. We never used to do that. So we focus a lot of different things now than I used to. Let's see. Alexander, the Nats are 5-1 in their last 6. Are they really? I didn't realize. I know they beat the Mets twice. Okay, well, some of the youngsters are playing. I know, but man, I look at the box score of the Nats, and I just want to go, who's this? Who's this? There's like 4 or 5 placeholders in that lineup that aren't going to be around. The craziest part about the Nats is some of those awful starting pitchers pitched some good games lately. And that is the worst thing that could happen because you're sitting there thinking this guy's awful, going to have to replace him. Well, he pitched better in September. Maybe he'll be okay next season. He turned it around. Then you bring him back and he stinks again. That's the worst thing you can do is let that happen. So, toughest player on the Redskins to interview, asked Paul. Well, I mean, that would actually talk to us. I'll say this. Andrew Norwell gave a prisoner of war interview the other day where he just said nothing. And it's not being mean. It's just, some guys don't want to talk to you. So, Terry Allen didn't particularly like me. Michael Westbrook used to tell me to F off quite a bit on that. And Jeff George, you could stand in front of Jeff George's locker and speak to him. He wouldn't even look at you. Such a jerk. He was a big jerk. All right. Tom asks, thank you for all you do. I appreciate it. Aloha mahalo. All right, man, from Hawaii. I used to do Hawaii radio a lot. There's so many servicemen out there who had, are fans. So, I did Hawaii radio for a while. I always thought that was really wild on there. I still do some radio. People ask me. I just don't do as much as I used to because, quite frankly, you don't get paid for it or anything. So, and I don't need the exposure or publicity or any of that stuff anymore. So, I do it as a professional favor when I can. But anymore, I won't go way out of my way to do it. Oh, I got to change my whole schedule to get on this show. Doesn't mean anything to me to do that. So I mean, I still do probably 2, 3 a week. Like the junks, when they call me, I'll go on. They may call me once a week. They may call me once a month. It's just varies. All right, but I'm going to be pushing a new book. Like I said, it'll be the Commanders version of this, and then I'll be doing radio shows for a little bit just to plug the book, and maybe you guys buy it. Like I said, next week you'll see right here on the whiteboard how to get it. Alexander, Nationals defense is vastly improved, which is why the pitching's improved. Sure. At the beginning of the year, man, there was so much sloppy defense. It's one thing about the hitting if you're not good enough to be a hitter, but you should be a good enough fielder when you reach the major leagues. What's happening with the smoke machine? Is it gone? Yeah, haven't seen it. So I guess we'll find out Sunday. If it's not there Sunday, forget it. I don't know if you guys have heard the stadium version of Hail to the Commanders. It sounds like a funeral dirge. Oh, they played it again at the welcome home lunch, and it was blah. So they play more. They started playing a more up tempo kind after touchdowns, which is good because that's what it should be. That other one was just a big miscalculation. Silly Goose asked if historian Michael Richmond does anything with the Commanders anymore. Not that I know of. I haven't seen Michael in a little while, but the pandemic kind of changed things around. All right, so Steve Moody hit the super fan or super thanks or whatever the heck that thing's called down below. I appreciate the money. Do I think Bobby Mitchell should have been given a chance to be GM? And I'll have you down for a book. Thanks. I don't know that Bobby was the GM. Bobby did a lot of great things for this organization, not just as a player, but his real strength was being in the community and talking to people about the team. And Bobby was he had this cadence of how he talked. Where he start off here and get you up here and you're ready to rock, brother. Kind of like, the MLK style and preacher style of stuff like that. And he was really good at that. And I thought that was his best asset. And, I know he was a little upset that he didn't get the chance. It wasn't a racism thing. I don't know. Charlie Castley was the right pick at the time. Luck said, hey, can you call me after you get off live? Somebody's trying to get to me. Ladies' man, I guess, has to be knocked out of here. He said you can call him after you get off the live. He's been trying to get in touch with you for weeks. Luck asked that. I don't know who you're talking about, Luck. Ladies' man is trying to do Redskins in a long way. That's not my thing. All right, the Great Watubi threw in a few bucks. Thank you, Great Watubi. Which is worse, the linebacker depth or cornerback? Linebacker depth. I know they picked up Mayo and Bostic. At least they know what's going on. That'll help as reserves. But they're just, I don't know. Maybe I should say corners. They picked up a couple guys. One does inside, one's more an outside. Young prospects might get better. Worth a look. Bob Ross fan. Humans or dogs? Humans, but I love dogs. I'm looking forward to getting one next year again. My Goldie passed away, so I've always had a dog for years. So dogs love us. Cats. Cats don't care if you show up or not. Why didn't they re-sign Collins, asked Paul. Just wasn't the fit. I think it's one of those chemistry things, I think, more than anything. I know Collins hasn't been signed by anybody else either. I wouldn't say it's impossible he would come back, but I don't think so. Let's see. Kevin, last time went to the Super Bowl, team had a good GM. Well, it was Charlie Castley on that last one. I mean, it was partly Bobby Beathard's team, or in large part, I guess. But Charlie was a good hard worker. I mean, I could talk all day about Charlie. Know him well. I respect him very much. Let's see. Over-under on the number of pipes busting this season. 2. All right. So, Mike, we can get rid of Jesus here, too. This is just ridiculous. I don't know why you guys have to act like jerks. But Michael's out there to knock you off, so I don't have to worry about you. But, get a life. The Great Watubi, you think they should try and sign a linebacker Giants guy? I was thinking about that, too. I don't know what his money is on that. Here's the thing with vested veterans like him. If you sign them to the active roster in the first week, they are guaranteed their whole salary for the year from you. And then go play somewhere else and collect that money too. But, that's why a lot of people hold back a week, because week 2, you sign a guy, you don't have to pay him the whole season, pay him for as many games as he plays. So let's see. I think John Gruden got another. Do I think John Gruden will get another NFL job? No, I don't think so. I think his time has come and gone on all of this. Let's see. Great Watubi. I bet he's cheaper now. Well, yeah, I bet he is cheaper now. I mean, some money's better than none. Paul Green, would Ron be on the hot seat if they start off slow? Not to any real point. I mean, it'd be a lot of yelling, but no, I don't think so. My favorite animal is the wombat, says Jack. Okay. Well, professional crop duster also wants to write nasty things. What's the matter with you, dude? Somebody hurt you in life, or are you just stupid? Ugh. So yeah, Michael just got him knocked off, I think. Come on, dude. You guys are just ridiculous on this. So Michael's going to switch over and knock off professional crop duster for me. Thanks. Crazy. It's not like anybody's really watching. I got a few of you. All right. Let's see. Yeah, professional crop duster thinks I'm bald. So what? Yeah, you're an idiot. What about the GMs? Is their job on the line? No, I mean they come and go with Ron. So, if Ron goes, I kind of wonder how that will impact the whole front office. I think they've done okay in the drafts at least. Free agency just hadn't been much there. I don't know if that's because Snider don't want to spend the money or what. The Great Watubi, over-under of 25 TDs for Wentz, I will go with over. But that's a tepid pick because if you get hurt, then you can't do it. So that's crazy. So it's a little crazy on that. Why are all NFL players criminals? What does it matter with you people? Yeah, I'm going to end this early if this is the kind of nonsense we're doing. Because NFL players are great guys. Any news when we can expect Robinson back in his sack? He's been put on the list, so he will miss first 4 games. And right now, they don't really know. I think they're going to know more next week, a little bit about how he is physically. So we'll know more next week, but he missed a minimum of 4. Yeah, Paul, you're right on your advice. Top of my head, 3 wide receivers all time in DC. Steve. Charlie Taylor, Art Monk, and Gary Clark. There's probably somebody we could find. I mean, Bobby Mitchell was more of a back, so Bobby Mitchell retired, all-time leading pass catcher, but he wasn't a receiver. How devastating would a loss be to the Jags? Asked Alton. Well, Alton, it's basically the sun rises the next day and we start again. But it wouldn't be good, that's for sure. Because in this show, we'll take an ugly turn. I don't know. I've seen so many bad teams, it doesn't faze me. But I think they have the possibility of winning 10 games. So why not? Marcus wants to know, do I like the nickname commies? No, but because I'm old enough to know when commies was a bad word, Vietnam era especially and all that. But I'm sure opposing fans are going to use it. That was one of the first things I thought about seeing the new name Commanders. Sheldon asked, what would I consider a successful positive season for Ron? A wild card game, but if you go 10-7 and don't get it, I think it would be a positive season. Just bad luck. The Great Watubi, why does no one ever bring up Kenny Houston? He could hit. Yeah, Ken Houston was really good. Matter of fact, some guy did this impact thing of top 4 players ever, and Ken Houston was among them. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool if somebody brought him up. Would I be happy if they go 500 in the first 4 games? Yeah, I would say so. Because that means, well, you either won the first 2 you're supposed to, or you managed to win a game against Philly, Dallas. On there. GKB, having more options in offense is going to be good or bad for our coordinator this year. It'd be good for him because he can try and do a little more creative stuff. Sometimes he gets too stuck on passing the ball, though. But then again, the defense used to put him in a 10-point hole every game. Who's going to get the most touchdowns among receivers? Asked Lawrence. Oh, that's a good question. If Logan Thomas was healthy from day one, I'd say him. just because I think that's where they'll throw. Otherwise, Samuel. That's just a gut. Because Terry gets double teamed so much, and Terry's more of a middle of the field kind of guy. Not that he can't catch him, but All right, Lawrence. Let's see. Okay, now Mike is. What's it going to take to get Joe Jacoby in the Hall of Fame? Time. It's unfortunate. It's stupid, but time will eventually get Joe Jacoby in. Hopefully, he's alive and able to enjoy it. Was I surprised they cut Patterson? Asked Bill. No, I think he does a couple things, but not enough things. And he's all heart. Gave you 100%. That's a guy you hope you wish could get on there and do these things. But he was the last guy, and then they took a rookie running back, and so I think they just moved on from him. What are the coaches doing about Gibson's fumbling problems? Well, they work on it every day. I mean, there are drills where they smack at the ball with pads, the assistant coaches, every day. So I think he's down to one of his last chances on doing this. Let's see. Mark is saying college football is getting crazy with NIL and conference realignment. Absolutely, man. The money is just. I saw where one player spent $60,000 on his teammates' uniforms to help him out. I love that, but man, how much money is on these things? Like, say Archie Manning's boy and grandson, Archie Manning, it's like over $1 million. I mean, this can't be good for the game, but I understand where players should get some of it. The NCAA was too greedy for all those years, and it burned them here. And now this is kind of craziness. We're basically bidding against everybody for players. And the realignment, yeah, I mean, the Big Ten now is going to stretch from C to shining C. Whatever. I miss the old ACC. Did Snider buy land in Woodbridge? Asked Paul. From what I understand, he had an option to buy land. I don't know that he did. I don't think so. But he had the option to buy it. And then that was dependent on the Virginia Assembly going for a stadium deal, and that didn't happen. So I don't think so. Bob Baker says he had a minute to stop by and say hello, so I appreciate it. Bob used to work for the team. Great guy. So he has strong comments sometimes, but Bob's a great guy. The Great Watubi, they should hold the NIL money until they graduate or leave school. Well, the problem is, who are we to say, you're the custodian of somebody's money? It's their money. So, I wouldn't want anybody to hold my money if I was 18 to get it. Corey, do you think they'll use Jonathan Williams a whole lot until B-Rob's ready to play? I did a video the other day where I said, they want Gibson to do some different things. And Marty Schottenheimer always talked about never move a second player to fill a hole, because then you got two players playing out of position. All right, so let Gibson go do what they want him to do and let Williams be your prime back and see what happens. That's all I'm saying. See what happens if you can get by for a game or two about it. Fat American threw in some money for the thanks button. Thank you for that. All the rest of you, keep going. Hit that thanks button. It's only $5 or whatever. Help me out. So how do I feel Ryan hired as a coach, and do I think the team is a 10 winner? If they're healthy, I think they can win 10 games. And I think they can win a playoff game. And I think Ryan is a great addition. He's an assistant coach, so he's got to learn. There's a lot to learn as a coach. It's very different as a player, but he's in a position to do that here. So I think it's a perfect spot for him, and I think, fans love Ryan, so I think it's a great thing there. You can't have enough of that. So all good stuff. All right, Marcus, also college football went to 12. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's already all about this anyway. And maybe more deserving teams can get in than the first 4 that's everybody's 4 from August all the way to the end of the season. And maybe get somebody a little more fair chance. Okay, Sheldon wants to know if I were to make a new move about any current or former Washington player, who would I pick? I'd get Trent Williams back. All right, Michael. College football is always looking for new ways to make money off players. Yep, sure are. Too much stuff. They spend too much money on these things. Paul Green said, "You read Snider was going to build a dome stadium down in Virginia." Yeah, but the Virginia Assembly at first talked about giving, $1 billion to the project, and then somebody wised up and said, "What are you, nuts?" And so they pulled their bill, and they'll discuss it next spring. So Snyder's not going to do any of that on his own. Fat American chipped in again. I like this. Every time you ask a question, throw money. That's great, man. So I've been to practices. Yeah, I didn't get to as many as I would have liked, but how they look, I think overall, typical. It's hard. They don't let you hit as much in these practices anymore. There aren't as many jobs on the line. There's not as much fighting. They really need to do the scrimmages against the other teams to really get a better look. Otherwise, if somebody looks good, that means somebody else on your team is looking bad. That's the one part to remember. So, all right, Marcus gave me a thumbs up. Thanks, Marcus. Sheldon, you meant movie. My bad. I lost track of this one now, Sheldon. Let's see. I still don't know what it is. Okay, this goes by quick. The Great Watubi kicked in a few bucks. Thank you, Great Watubi. I love the name. I like Ryan, but he was all motor and little technique. I hope they teach the D-line more moves than the bull rush. True. That was his strength, and you go with your strength. But he's a smarter guy than you might think. I was hearing him talk today a little bit about a couple of technique things. So I agree with you on that. But, hey, man, whatever you can do to win. I still say Dexter's the all-time sack leader. Because Dexter had 6 his rookie year. They didn't count toward the total back then. So he really had more than Ryan. It bothers me that Ryan's called that. Not because of Ryan, but Dexter deserves it. Will the NCAA turn into a mini NFL? Asked Mike. Yeah, it's pretty much where it's headed. Basketball might turn in the same way too. Did the NFL ban rookie hazing? Asked Paul. Kind of. I mean, it used to be out of hand. Now they still make them sing. That's innocent enough. But I remember the old days. They used to, tape players to the goalpost for a while, or just do nothing that was going to hurt you, but definitely going to bother you. And so they've cut back on that, to say the least. I mean, yeah, I remember like Heath Schuler being taped to the goalpost for showing up late. So veterans just did that to him. There was a quarterback named Mark Hartzell, who was a third stringer. They taped him up to a hand cart, and then tied the hand cart to the back of a golf cart, and he's lying backwards, and they're rolling all around the Frostburg campus with him lying on the back, rushing by the grounds. And the team was having a picnic out by the trees after practice, so they propped him against the tree and tied him to that and made him watch everybody eat lunch, dinner. Okay, nothing bad happened there in a way, but, All right, Alton asks, he sure deserved to be taped to the goalpost. Now, I'm telling your friends you said that, Alton, because, you're in the same neck of the woods there. And I have a lot of respect for Heath as a person. Just couldn't read linebackers. But that doesn't make you a bad person. It just doesn't make you a good quarterback. Fat American, thanks for chipping in. I like this. Been a fan my whole life. Unfortunately, I'm 30. I'm sorry for that, man. Well, I'm not sorry you're 30. Trust me, I'd rather be 30. And you could see these Super Bowl seasons. And you're remarking how crazy it's been the last 15 years. Yeah, and it's the owner and a large part of this, and karma, all that stuff on there. Let's see. Steve Moody. I don't know what you're doing. Looks like you guys are getting into a Twitter war or something. Does Ryan's presence impact Chase's performance? Let's hope for the better. I mean, Chase is listening to him. Chase is a good guy. He's listening to things, and he needs some work on what he's doing. So hopefully Ryan can do that for him. All right, great. Tubi chipped in more. So you guys are learning, man. Thanks for the money. All you other guys out there watching, throw a couple bucks. Ain't going to hurt you. I could use it. I'm building a retirement home, so you'd be amazed how much it's costing me. Every vendor thinks I have bags of gold in the back. Anyway, Great White Chewy says, what was Washington's biggest bust? Schuler? I don't know. I think maybe it's RG3, although we gave him a good year, but it cost him more picks. Heath was just 1 pick. Robert was 4 picks, or 3 in a way. So I would say Robert. Marcus, do you have any NFL shows or broadcasters? Do I like any of them? Yeah, I like them all, pretty much. Well, I shouldn't say I like them all. I like the main national guys. I like Collinsworth. Is really good. Here's the worst draft pick Washington's had. Washington, Paul, had they took this guy named Cal Rossi twice back around the 1940s. First time he wasn't eligible. They burned a pick, didn't realize it. Second time he went to be a school teacher instead of playing in the NFL. So that's 2 1s on a guy who doesn't even show up. So that's got to be the worst of all. That is in the book, by the way. I kept that in the book, the 100 Redskins thing. That'll be 100 Commanders. Fat American, thanks again. Is DC media really that tough? Here it's not. I think we're in the middle, if I had to be honest. Don't poke the bear, because there's a lot of guys and ladies that cover this team. And, you want to get in a fight with us? Let's rock. But it's not like every day everybody's looking to fight with them. And I know some other places there are. So we're probably in the middle of the road. Let's see. Did I see my comment? Lucky, I saw your comment, but I don't know who you're talking about. So tell me the name. Josh Dotson, worst pick? No, not even close. No. Alton. Oh, thank you, Alton. I don't know of another reporter that interacts with fans like this. Thanks. And Rich Chandler would, if he were alive today, would do this. Rich Chandler was a great guy. He was a restaurant manager before I gave him his first gig in the media, and then he worked very hard and did very well. And he taught me that interacting with fans is so important, and because you're our customer base, and we don't see that in journalism. We don't see that nearly as much as we should. So I thank the late great Rich Chandler for that. Do I consider Westbrook a bust? Asked Bob. Come on, Bob. You know what I'm going to say. No, he had a 1,000-yard season. He had quite a few catches. No, it wasn't a bust. It wasn't what they hoped, but it was better than a lot of other guys. Where can you get the book? Asked Mojo Daddy. One right here. Come back next Monday, but my website, monumentalthoughts.com, will have it on there. I haven't activated it yet because the books aren't in my hands yet, but they're supposed to come this week. And when they do, I'll put it up. And then you can ask me to sign it to your great Aunt Sarah or whatever, and I'll sign it. All right. Let's see. How many seasons will it take Hal to be a starter? 2 max. Could be next year. It might start this year, but it would be about over an injury or something that wins. Tom says he likes the talent on the team. Is it going to be all about quarterback play? I'd say largely. Quarterback play, D-line play. That's the 2 parts. Corey thinks Rod Gardner was a bust. Now, he had a 1,000-yard season too, so I won't say it's a bust. But it didn't work out very well either. Miss Perry remembers Rich Chandler well too. Thank you for that. Let's see, Mike. Do you have a favorite DC sports reporter? Well, John Keim and I are old friends. You like George Michael? I like George. He was a hustler and a carnival barker and many other things. And he said worse about me, but I like George because he was who he was. He didn't pretend otherwise. He was a great guy. I like George. I know a lot of people hated him. Did I ever drink a beer with John Riggins? Paul asked. No, I don't usually drink with players. I mean, I have, but in Riggo, I was kind of a young punk when Riggo was the big deal. What's the $5 for? It's for me. That's who it's for. Alton Beal, Taylor interacted with him on Twitter, and a fan-friendly guy. Yeah, he really was. Worked at a Panera for years. So, and I helped him do his book, helped him how to get it and all that. Fat American, listen to Jay Gruden interview. He said he didn't have control over picks. Correct. Free agents and signings. Correct. You think he would have had more success if he had control like Ron does? I don't necessarily think so, but they would have avoided a few mistakes. Like Haskins, he didn't want Haskins, and yet they did it. So that was a burned pick for that. Is Fat American really a Fat American? Asked Big Money Sonny. I have never met him, and any more than I know whether you're Big Money or not. Michael says Taylor was a good dude. Didn't always agree with him, but he was a good dude, and he was. Miss Perry, okay, great. Tubi, which media is the toughest? New York? Probably. All right, so some guy named Turd Ferguson's being a jerk. So go ahead and ban him, Michael. Let's see. Yeah. Bye, Turd. Okay. How hard a hitter was Paul Green? I'm sorry. Paul Green asked how hard a hitter was Pat Fisher. He would knock the snot out of you. People would talk about how he would literally foam at the mouth in the huddles. His own teammates were afraid of him. And yet, if you met Pat Fisher today, he's about 5'6" now, and the nicest old man you ever met. You think this guy played in the NFL? You know, you think you're punking me, man. There's no way. But he did. Dude, just I think he was like a 17th round pick or something crazy. He just gave it everything. Good guy. Marcus, do I agree with the NFL no longer drug testing for marijuana? I would say yes, just because it's a legal drug in many states. So you should, if you can take it in the states, that's legal. I don't see why you should be penalized for it. I'm not a guy who smokes marijuana, but just saying. Let's see, Grandizer's back. Good. Glad you're back already. Michael, Harold Carmichael like Pat Fisher. Well, Pat was like a foot shorter, but he took Harold down quite a bit. Fat American, what do I think of Milo, the linebacker? And one good hit against Carolina. I'm going to have to reserve judgment on that. I'm not sure. Mojo, did Trent go to the Hall of Fame as a Redskin commander? Does he go to the Hall of Fame? I bet he doesn't. I bet he says he's a 49er. I mean, he'll probably play there about 5 seasons, so I bet he says that. Just like Champ, went at his other team, Bronco. It's legal in the United States, but I can still get fired for it, says the Great White Chibi. Yeah, I mean, it's not a nationally approved thing, so I agree that the laws are different. You have to follow the laws in your state, so like many other things. So it's not always right, but I'm not a guy who advocates drugs and all that. But if it's legal in your state and you use it, you think you'd be okay. But I mean, not everybody can. Even if it's legal in your state, like I think if you're a police officer or things like that, you can't do it. So that's the job. The job tells you what, and people get penalized for it. All right. Sierra Scudero. Sorry, I probably butchered that. Biggest dreams for this offense to mirror that of a 99 team, which is a good team. Didn't quite win as like it should have. Banger, running back, and vertical passing game. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I like it too. But passing is so much more important now in the NFL. Need to hear the bell ring so an angel gets its wings, says Grandizer. Okay, there you go. Paul Green, which players are going in the Ring of Fame this year? Let's see. They just did we say that yet? I know Sonny's being retired. They did the 90th, and it's Ken Houston, I believe, or Brig Owens. It's a Brig, I think, is going in the Hall of Fame. I have to look that one again. Stuff getting old. Don't remember everything. All right, so Grandizer needs 3 more people to get their rings. There you go. Like I said, if you just showed up, I have my own bell. I hit it at the end of the 2-minute ones, and people love it. Fat American missed Greg Williams. His defenses were so good. Absolutely, best defensive coordinator they've had a long time, but a little bit of a difficult guy to get along with. He was a Buddy Ryan disciple, so that kind of tells you that. Buddy, I could tell you some Buddy Ryan stories too. But Dan just didn't like him. That's why he didn't get the job. Ricky Sanders and Donnie Warren need to be in the Ring of Fame. That says Mojo Daddy. I agree. Grandizer, do I have a pregame stream with the Jags content creator lined up this week? No, I'm busy pregame. I'm meeting people. I'm seeing this and that. I don't like to do radio shows or anything right before games. I'm concentrating on the game and what's going on. Do I think the Greg Williams defense was the best one they've team ever had? No, not ever, but best since the last Super Bowl. I would say that. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have had him. He's now in is it USFL that he's going to be coaching in? Kind of amazes me, but he was a good, solid one. But it's not always about being good at what you do. Just like any job, you got to be able to get along with people, that kind of stuff. Alton said, I met Mel Kaufman when he was a teenager in high school. Oh, okay. By then, you were a teenager, and he was a scout for the team. I remember Mel, but I didn't have personal interactions with him. Steve says 85 Bears versus 91 Skins. Who wins? 85 Bears. But that was a great Redskin team. Pettibone's defenses were better, says Michael. I agree with you there. Grandizer talks about marijuana. We talked about that enough. How can we get a signed autographed copy of my book? Asked Mike. next Monday, I'll hopefully have the books in hand. I don't want to put out the link until they're in hand. But the only way you can get them signed is order them through me. It'll be on the whiteboard, monumentalthoughts.com. There'll be a spot there where you can go. I haven't activated it yet. But, I appreciate you buying it. Fat American said, 91 defense really any good? I thought they were okay. It was the offense that was really so good there. On there. Okay, let's see. Mojo Daddy, if Dan ever forced to sell, does Tanya take over since she's co-owner? No, I think they stay or fall, leave together, whichever way that works. I don't think, if she still had majority control, I'm not sure how this works exactly on there. I know they did some reworking of the deals. But no, I think they're a package deal, however it goes. Is Wentz on a 1-year contract? Asked Marcus. No, he's actually a 3-year, but they can cut him after 1 year with no real cap big hit. Who's the best defensive team you remember? I asked Fat American, 85 Bears. But I think we'd have to go back to one of the 70s teams for best defense. I have to look at that a little harder. But one of the early George Allen teams. Who's starting tight end game 1? Asked John. Depends on the play. I don't expect Logan to be back. So if it's a running play, it's Bates probably. If it's a passing play, maybe it's Cole Turner. But I say if you had to bet, I'll say Bates. Still the Redskins to me, says FJ. Yeah, I say Redskins all the time when I'm writing and I'm talking on the air. I'll say Commanders, but with my friends, we all say Redskins. Nobody says Commanders. Can't pay. We're not getting paid to say that on our own time. I just get paid to say it on work time. 85 Bears or the 87 Redskins, Grandizer? Definitely the 85 Bears. 87 Redskins peaked at the right time. We're a good team, but they peaked in those playoffs. Man, they just went crazy. They were so good. All right, Mike, do I think the team will eventually stop allowing fans to wear Redskin gear? No, they'll never stop that. That's a First Amendment fight too, believe it or not. So that won't happen. I know because Maryland U used to have F blank Duke, and we got to the courts and everything. It was really weird. Set the precedent. What happened to Curtis Jordan? Asked Paul. Don't know. Wilbur Marshall, a Bear and a Redskin, Grandizer says. And I really liked Wilbur Marshall. Dude was fast, side to side. Am I going to jump on Kimes podcast? Well, whenever he asks me, I've been on it once in a while. Whenever John needs me, I'm there for him. Let's see. You can say anything you like. There may be some consequences. Okay, yeah. Like Harry Booger, we're going to knock him out. Some teenager in his basement, who can't get a girlfriend, is just sitting there typing stupid stuff. Sorry, loser. I got a guy knocking you out. How is it to cover the team over the past decade? Has it been tough? No, I think it actually gets easier than the old days. There's rules about, we have access to them. And the early 90s players started thinking that they were all businessmen because the free agency came about and the money and all that. And it changed players for a while. But now the money is such a given and it no longer impacts how people react. So I think it's actually gotten easier. Maybe I've gotten older and remind them of their grandfather so they won't lip off at me like that. So I think they're better media trained now. I think players are better to talk to. Can you still buy Redskin gear at the stadium? Paul asked. I don't believe so. I think there's some football team gear there, but I don't think there's a Redskin gear anymore. Grandizer, their best defense, the early 70s Dolphins? Yeah, I would say that's probably right. Do I get along with Kevin Sheehan? That's an interesting question. I don't speak with Kevin Sheehan, so I haven't seen him in years. So I know he's said things about me at times. I don't really care what he says. But there's no bad blood between us. We just don't really interact at all. Let's see. The Steelers 70 team. Great White Tubby wants to kick in. Steel Curtain. They were good, too, for quite a few years. I mean, there's a lot of good teams. Will we ever get a monument park like the Yankees? Ask Mojo. I don't see that happening. But there might be a statue or two come out somewhere. I wouldn't be against it. Matter of fact, I've talked about interactive things where, with the greats that you could do with the new 5G capabilities. I think there's a lot you could do with the new park. Best defense to not win a Super Bowl. Maybe Buffalo's, one of those Buffalo years. Need to make Super Bowl picks, says Marcus. Got the Packers over the Chargers. All right. Don't like either one. I haven't really thought about this. I guess I'll have to do that this week. Some people you don't like Sheehan, that's y'all. I'm not getting into an argument about Kevin Sheehan. I have nothing bad to say about him. And whatever he says about me, I don't care. See, there's a lot of rivalries in the media too, I mean, we're not all – it's not so much with the younger guys now. They get along much better than the guys in the past. And we competed against each other much more seriously. I mean, I don't know if that's a good word, seriously, but personally, you just didn't get along with those other guys as much. But maybe they're smarter today. Rick, how goes the move? Yeah, I'm moving in next month. Hopefully it'll go well. I don't know. It's a lot of work. Packing up 35 years of memories. Bills, Rams, and the Super Bowl, says Bill. Is that because they're Bills, Bill? But I like Buffalo a lot. I think they definitely could be something. Great What Tubi likes me on the Junks. Thanks. Whenever the Junks ask me to come on, I try to come on. But, it's up to them when. Fat American asks, the media pretty cutthroat? It's competitive. I mean, if you want to be good at it, you have to be really competitive. And there's a lot of really good reporters, especially covering the NFL, because that's where the money is and that's where the big money is. I mean, if you really love basketball or hockey, you can go cover that. And that's your dream and that's your business. But the NFL, there's no favors given, man. Corey asks, does Larry Michael still cover the Commanders? No, he's gone. Alton, ever done any videos on the Cowboys rivalry? No, I did a book with smaller guys called America's Rivalry. It's pretty hard to find anymore. And the rivalry is more in the fans' minds than the players. It's really not there for the players anymore on that. So let's see what we got. An unending grind, asks Fat American. I think it is for the media now because Twitter and social media. I had all day to work on stories. These poor guys got to just fight the fire every 5 minutes. You can't go nowhere because take a breath, something happens, especially with this team. Let's see. Just saw 30-30 on the Scab team. I covered that team. Gibbs didn't sound in favor of replacements. Getting rings. Yeah, that's true. Do we know his thoughts since they gave him? I haven't talked to him about it. I was there the day that gave these guys their rings. And I was sitting next to a bunch of the players. I was happy for them. They deserved it. That was very contentious. I covered the team because the players threatened the regular beat writers at my paper with not talking to them again. I was covering horses. So they brought me over and figured they'd burn me. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody bugged me about it. I never had a hard time with it. Let's see. Yeah, Michael says nothing funnier than Shams and Woj trying to beat each other by 1 second on Twitter. Yeah, it's a hard way, man. I had the heart attack 20 years ago. I'm fighting for that kind of thing. That's why I'm just a columnist and a guy talking on the internet anymore. Collecting memories is a great American pastime. Yeah, it's holding on to the memories I have struggled with anymore. Joe Bugle, Boss Hog, needs to be in a Ring of Fame as well, asked Mojo Daddy. I would agree. Boss Hog passed away a few years ago, and he was such a good coach. If Ron makes the playoffs and wins a game, do we get an extension? Yeah, yes, Paul. I would say yes. I would see that. Grandizer, one more like we get to hear the bell again. Oh, okay. All right. Who's the rival if not the Cowboys? Eagles, I think. I mean, the Giants will tell you their big rival is Washington. Has been for a long time in their minds. It's kind of like Maryland and Duke. Maryland hated Duke, and Duke would scream back, "You're not our rival," because Carolina was like 20 minutes from campus, and that was their main rival. But that didn't mean that Duke didn't hate Maryland too. But it was kind of an unrequited thing. Have I gotten to listen Ron Rivera go off on the team yet? From a distance at practice, I've seen him yell. But We don't get that close, and he's smart enough not to do it right in our face. So that's a half an answer, I guess. I've only been out on the field one time during a practice, and that was Terry Robisky called me out in the middle of the field when he was taking over for those 3 weeks. And it's scary being in the middle of the field because there's stuff going all around you. And you're afraid one of these guys is going to knock into you. I was like, Terry, what do you want? And he had something silly. I was like, I'm going back to the sideline where I won't get hurt. Could Danny stay away all season? Asked Tim. That's a good question. I'm going to be interested to see if he's there. He wasn't there for the preseason game. Rick, when the AC Cards were the St. Louis Cards in the NFC East, who are their rivals in that division? I don't know, because Washington beat their butt almost every time for quite a while on that. So I'm not sure. I don't know how much you have. It should be regional for them. Who will have a better career, Chase or Montez? Asked Mojo. I'll say Chase, but I don't know. That could go either way. Fat American, do you remember when the Cowboys beat us all the time in the early 2000s? Yeah. I think they went like 14-0. I don't know if it's 14-0, but it was a good streak. I looked the other day at Washington, Baltimore, Colts. Back in the 60s, the Colts were, I think, 10-0 against the Redskins in the regular season and like 8-0 in the preseason. They won every single game that whole 60s. And then George Allen came along and managed to start at least winning the preseason games. Great one, too. We went to the NC State in the 80s, and Duke and Carolina were nearby. Yeah, because I used to cover the ACC years ago. Yeah, NC State was great for basketball. That howling wolf, I always told people if the Red Wolves had happened, NC State get that wolf yelling in the arena. And it was a show. It was really cool. Paul said the Redskins were the Cards' rivals. Well, I feel bad for the Cards then because they got beat at homecoming every time. Corey, do you think we evaluated the defense better if we had joint scrimmages? Absolutely. Even rookie scrimmages they used to have. I like those. You need to see someone else. What's the guess on Commanders' attendance for Game 1? Real attendance, I'll say 32,000. Announced attendance, 62. Because the tickets were sold. Okay. From what I gather, they have about 40,000 season tickets. That's based on the preseason opener where they said there was like 44,000 people there. Paid attendance, it said. So, yeah, a few walk-up people on that. So I'll say that means they have about 40,000 season ticket holders at that point. Let's see. That American, yeah, you talk about how the Cowboys win all the time. It's so frustrating. I agree. Marcus says the extra 17 games sucks. Agree. 16 or 18. Don't like 17. I just think because then one year you have 9 regular season home games, and next year is 8. It's hard to go year to year. And they'll get to 18. Might be 5 years from now or something, but they'll get to it. So now it's the Cowboys versus Commanders, says Jason. Well, yeah, that's the names. How often? Oh, okay. So Bobby asked if I talked to Al. He was the trainer. Since been back in charge. I have not had a chance to. I'd love to. He's a great guy. Holding strong from Commanders down to San Antonio. That's great, man. Been to San Antonio. It was 100 degrees, but enjoyed the city, the Alamo. Man, I had no respect for people in that Alamo. How you managed to keep that army out of there for 2 weeks. Yeah. Have the Commanders found a mascot yet? No, they're not going to announce that, Paul, until the end of the season. I don't even think they need one. I think it's dumb. If you had the power to move an NFL team, which would you move and why? Grandizer asked, I'd move Jacksonville to London. Wouldn't even think about it twice. Fat American, do you think winning actually will cure all for this team and bring fans back? I think it would definitely help a great bit, but it won't do everything. But it will come a long ways. Oh, there's 44 people watching now. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I mean, overall, this thing, I noticed most people stay for about 10, 15 minutes. So 200 to 300 people watch live, and about another 200 maybe watch on replay. It will be on replay when I quit in a few minutes. It takes like a minute or two to recharge, and then it's on replay. So you still have a minute or two to throw on the thanks button, hit the paid money if you like. Tonight, you guys were generous. Thank you so much. Do I know if the NFL still has plans on creating an 18-game schedule? Yeah, and it'll coincide with more TV money and and more player money. And so, yes, they'll get to 18. I don't know after 18. That would be tough after that. Any chance J.D. McKissick gets more touches week 1 through 4 than Gibson? Caleb asks. I'd say no. I think Gibson will have more. Johnny Boy, Mob Squad, we're in the building. Well, there you go. And Bob, Bob's got to run. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate you coming. Talk to you later. Big Money Sonny salutes Johnny Boy. Okay, there you go. Curtis Daniel represents Ohio State. Yeah, I know, the Ohio State. Let's go Big Ten. Well, I'm a Maryland guy. Yeah, let's go Big Ten. The problem with Big Ten is we don't – ACC, you have family in the Carolinas and all that stuff. At least I did. So it was fun to rag with them. I don't know anybody from Iowa or Nebraska or any of these other places. So I don't hate them because I don't know them. So it's just harder to get up for it. But it's not going to change, so the way it goes. Would it be good to play the Popeye theme music every time the Commanders score a point? Love that chicken from Popeyes? I'd rather play Hail to the Commander thing. Am I related to Daniel Snider, Jason asked. Get that all the time. No, I actually spell my last name with an I, and he spells with a Y. So we're not related. Let's see. Great show, says Bill. Appreciate it. Started early and stayed late. Yeah. Well, it seemed like you guys kept ask questions, and I got nothing else to do. The TV season hasn't started yet. I got a couple extra minutes. Fat American, was Serrato actually really incompetent, or was it just Danny making the moves? I think it was Danny making the moves, and then he couldn't stand up to him on that. Then he knew something about football. He wasn't an idiot. He just had no control over everything. Mojo says, Pettibone was criminally underrated, deserves to be in the Hall. He was a great assistant, as a defensive coordinator. Didn't want to be the head coach. But it happened in March. Cook threw him some extra money. Gibbs got him there. He wanted to reward him and his staff to keep their jobs another year. That's why Gibbs did that in March. And Richie was like, okay, you can pay me to be head coach, but you can't make me care. And it was an interesting year, to say the least. Bone would get so mad at those guys playing poorly that at the end of the season, it's dark about 4:30-ish, 5. You would have them out practicing in the dark. If you're going to stink, do it in the dark where we can't see you. It was really weird. You couldn't see the field hardly standing on the side. Fat America, when you think about it, didn't the Redskins technically do what the Rams and Eagles are doing now? I have to give that some thought. Vinny Schreider was Dan's scapegoat, asked Corey. Yeah, but Vinny deserves some of it. Great Watubi. Should we get the mascot from Russell Crowe from Master and Commander? Hey, that would be cool. I like Master and Commander. Great movie. I wish they made a sequel. I heard they were going to. But do I have the Elmo impersonation today? Let me see. Andy, are you here? I do Andy Reid and I suppose they look alike. We have the same color shirt on today. And hi, everybody. I'm on Rick Snider's Washington again. Andy, how'd you sneak on here? Michael, can you block him? No, I guess you can't block a picture. See you later. I mean, Andy shows up whenever you hard to believe it. Big Money Sonny said, salute to the Cherry Squad. No idea what that is, but okay. Thanks for the zip. Let's see. The Great Watubi. I lost track of you there. Grandizer, details. Whatever. I forget about what. We've talked about 3 things since then. I'm way higher than Andy Reid, says Charo. All right. Well, thanks. I've lost some weight. That helps. Otherwise, we both have the same mustache and glasses, and when I wear the hat, you can't tell whose hair is who. So we look something alike, and I get teased about it a lot. So once in a while, Andy comes on my show, and we talk about things. Let's see. Jason says, I haven't been following Washington the last couple of years. Got any good players? Yeah, Terry McLaurin, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, John Allen, the whole D-line, Ron Payne. Yeah, they got a few, but I need more. How did I meet Matt on Seasons of Discontent? Asked Tim Cox. Well, I met him when he was about 5 years old and lived across the street from my in-laws. And my mother-in-law babysat him during the day along with my 2 daughters. So I've known Matt. He turned 40 yesterday. So I went to his birthday party. He's getting old. I'm getting better. He's getting older. But we do Seasons of Discontent, which is a 15-minute podcast. It's on YouTube Mondays and Thursdays. So I just posted one earlier. So it's a little chance to talk things a little bit more. And Matt's a great guy. Why did Bobby Beathard leave in '89? Asked Mojo. Wanted to go back to California. He was a California guy. Wanted to be able to be back there. I think he was also figured he'd done all he could do here. So, yeah. Okay. And Seattle Cruiser says I'm way hotter than Andy Reid. Okay, you're kind of scaring me, but okay. I know who I am. It's not like I'm going to make anything. Luck threw in some dough. Thank you, Luck. I appreciate that. Tim Cox's best Washington podcast. I appreciate it. Not many people know about Seasons of Discontent. Matt and I've done it for years. Fat American threw in a couple more. Thank you, Fat American. You've been a big help today. The Redskins bought heavy in free agency back then. Yeah. And, and it worked sometimes, and sometimes it didn't. Snider didn't do very well with it. Would Chase become a great player when he comes back? Yes, Paul. That's the $1 million question, Paul. And I don't know the answer. Andy Reid endorses Rick Snider's Washington. I wonder if Andy Reid had ever seen this when I do him. He'd probably think, who is this crazy person? And I've met Andy Reid over the years, but I don't know. I would love. I hope he takes it as a compliment, because I think Andy Reid's a great coach, obviously. On it. Want to be nice to talk about the games, asked Bill. Yeah, you got that right. This team just something always is happening. Every go a couple weeks, that's about it. There's always something, and there'll be something coming. It's always coming. All right, it's 9:19. I've run over. But the great part of this is it doesn't matter. It's the internet. When we go long, we go long. Who's the best coach now? Reid? McVay. Can I say McVay? I remember Sean when he was here in Washington. Impressive guy. Just as the new Minnesota coach from Washington. Impressive guy on there. The boss is saying happy birthday to Tess. Okay. Tess, are you on here? Fat American, what was the worst year covering this team for you? 2002, because I had a heart attack 3 days before the season opener. That was one grind of a season for me. But there's been a few real bad, losing seasons. There was no fun in Mudville those nights. But I like an application for the Cherry Squad. I'm not sure what that is, and I'm kind of afraid to ask. So, we'll see. Now I'm doing okay with the heart. 20 years yesterday since the attack. So I kind of took it as a personal achievement because they said, oh, we'll give you a bypass. That'll last 20 years. Wait a minute. That sounded good then. Actually, they told me bypass surgery, if any of you are unfortunate enough to have it, gave me my life back. It took a price. I had to work hard, but gave me my life back. And they tell me now that as long as you take care of your health, there's no time limits on bypasses. So if you're out there, as I tell people, if you've had to deal with a real health issue, just think of the day when things will get better and work hard toward it and don't give up. Off your heels, on your toes. That's what I told myself earlier this year when they thought I had a stroke. And I didn't. I had a disc in my back that made my right side go numb. Looked like a stroke, but it wasn't. I'm so lucky on that. But I tell people, I finally said, quit feeling sorry for yourself and let's go. That's been my philosophy my whole life. Let's just go. Go to work hard. Big Money Sonny chipped in something. Thank you, Big Money. All right, so Grandar says, going to eat dinner and leaving the show here. Okay. All right, if you have to. What are you having for dinner first before you go on there? Back here in the East, Granddad's is probably out West and time to eat dinner. Here in the East, we already ate. My son-in-law cooked for Labor Day. It was great. One of those pork roasts on the grill or smoker. Let's see. Michael says, it should go without saying, but posting anything unrelated to this channel will get you blocked. You got to. Marcus wants KFC fried chicken. I eat that, but the grilled kind. I do. I like it better than the others. Although Royal Farms has made me a big fan, but that's fried. So, and Chick-fil-A, they make grilled chicken too. Really good. Someone should explain the Cherry Squad to Rick so he knows what it is. Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's nothing, improper so that the YouTube censors don't come get me. Out of the Blue Crabs this season, Mike, that's a local Waldorf minor league team. Had a great year. The season's about over, so they haven't hit the playoffs yet. They had a great year. I like going to Blue Crabs games. It's like $10, and there's it's real crowded, so you can spread out. So, and I don't know how much beer is there now. So, well, okay. So, last questions. We're going to wrap up on all of this. You guys were generous tonight. Thank you so much for all that, for just watching and following things. I do appreciate it. I do this for you guys. I have tried Beyond Meat chicken paw. Okay. Most of the Beyond Meat stuff, okay. It's out there. So, every day is the 2-minute videos. Next Monday, I'll be back again, 8 to 9. Be back after the games, of course, and working on all this stuff. So, so Fat American tells me Commanders community says Cherry Squad. Yeah, dedicated to Commanders fans. Okay, I had not heard of you, Big Money Sonny. But, okay, so if you're a Cherry Squad guy, good. Why is it called Cherry Squad? I'm afraid to ask that, too. So, on there. Next week could be 1-0. That would be a lot of fun. Winning's fun for everybody. It's just we've been beaten. This team has been beaten so much that you get kind of used to it. But, hey, I'd love to see him go out there and be 10-0. Man, we'd have some fun. I'd have 1,000 people watching this. But I don't have control over that. They do. So I wish them well, and we'll see what happens. So, everybody, hope you had a great week. Thank you so much for coming and watching everything on there. Oh, Big Mitch came on Fat American. So you guys are legit. If Big Mitch did it, one of my favorite guys. So thank you so much for coming on all this stuff. And try and watch the weekly shows. The podcast is up, Seasons of Discontent. Just look on YouTube on there. And we're good. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Larson. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys soon. You can watch anything you missed. If you came in late, you can see it on the replay. All right, guys. See you later. Thanks.